want to emphasize again the value of personal experience, and it's actually a focus of this group. It's so easy to flip in our head to a teaching, something I've heard, I learned, I know that. Somebody said that, I saw a video, blah, blah, blah. Can we turn to wait, I got peaceful before, how'd I do that? So you're turning to your own awareness, your own experience, and growing it. And it's a lot more useful than you might think. You are the most powerful being you'll ever meet and know. And you are the closest connection to the source, however you perceive it, that you'll ever be close to. And there's always that latent tendency to keep it removed from us by even projecting it into a teacher or book or video or something. And yet, time after time, we've looked at things, they've helped, and then instead of registering what my experience was, we just register, that video. We're off to find another video next time when I have another problem. So again, just always emphasizing, learn to turn to your own awareness and experience first. And often it will direct you to outside help also, but it's cultivating that habit. So in that vein, cool stuff from the week. Insights, awarenesses, miracles, fun.
Well, I tried the practice from last week, which was basically, and you talked about it for like a while, so it was kind of like hard to like just figure out exactly what the practice was. But what I took from it was like if you're feeling not at peace for whatever reason, just asking higher mind, I would like this to be different. And so I had a cold last week, and I tried that, and I found that, even though it didn't make the cold disappear, that I did feel like more peaceful and more, just like more relaxed when I just said that.
Yeah.
So I don't know, that was cool.
Thank you.
I felt, two things. Like 2 days ago or something like that, I felt for the first time in a while that I actually was content with where I was at work, for the first time, and I'm putting pressure on myself to be further or do something different. It just was like a nice feeling.
Cool.
And I shared that with Jesse because I said, I haven't really felt that in a couple of years, where I felt like I actually was okay with where I was at.
Yeah.
And that was a good feeling.
Yeah.
Just to not want more or this and all that, and so that was cool. And then, another thing today, a little different thing. My cousin, who I never talked to, called and left a message at work today, and she's somebody who I had defriended on Facebook about 4 months ago because I just don't. It wasn't anything personal. I just didn't. We don't communicate, and we're on different wavelengths. So I said, okay, well, we separated from a lot of friends, and she was one of them, and so I felt myself getting very into anxiety today about calling her back.
Yeah.
And I was like, why am I getting anxious about it? I was like, I just actually was able to separate myself from the situation for the first time in a long time, and was like, why would I even be worried about calling this person? Why am I even anxious at all? And that was cool to me because usually I would have let that, and I didn't call her back yet, but just because I was busy today. But a lot of times it would get me, and I was like, but that's a big deal.
Yeah.
And so that was cool, I thought, because I haven't been able to do that a lot, and that's why I had to come back to the group, because I stopped being reminded of my true self.
Yeah.
Reminded to the mind too much and all that. So it was cool to call myself out today.
Yeah. That's awesome. Cool. That's a good lead-in for tonight's group, too. Thanks. I'll use that.
We all share a story?
Whatever.
I don't know. I'm just thinking, catching a couple little things that tends to be what I do the most of. I mean, stupid little shit that pops up. Even walking in here, I had a cinnamon toothpick in my mouth. I was walking by the guy to let me in. I felt this brief little moment of feeling self-conscious about talking to me with a toothpick in my mouth. And it didn't click right away. And then I was like, wow, this is stupid. And then earlier, even at work, I get called to go over and talk to our clinical director and myself and one of the other counselors, and it ended up being 3 of us over there. But right before that, the girl said to me, "Oh, were you in trouble?" And I said, "No." But then I did feel that little bit, like, "Oh, that's my dad over there. What did I do wrong?" I don't know. I guess that more than anything, just catching those little things come up and not letting them take over.
Yeah.
Other than that, just keeping up with practice. I know if I get up and spend time in meditation practice every morning, it gets so much better, but I still...
Yeah, who wants to do that?
Right.
Yeah.
Blow it off half the week.
Oh my. Thanks, Doug.
I've had just a real calming. I did have one experience where something was told to me that was really upsetting to me. And I was getting in that upsetting mode about it and anxious. And all of a sudden, I was like, stop. Sat down on the couch, closed my eyes, and I said, let's go. And after about 3 minutes, I came at peace with myself, and I said, you know what? Just like your flyer said, soak in it. I was like, So I sat there for a while, and then finally I got up, and I was like, you know what? So be it. Whatever.
There we go.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, and then it's still there.
Yeah.
But I mean, the news is still there.
Yeah.
But it's like, whatever's going to be is going to be.
Cool.
I can't control that. It's just going to happen. So, yeah, that
Yeah.
was good.
Thank you. Real good one.
Yeah.
I've been recently just struggling with the feeling of being uneasy, and really combating the need for acceptance. But it's been kind of tough. But I've learned to try and ease myself into it. It doesn't matter if other people accept me. If I accept myself, then I'm okay with that. And especially because this group, it's the first time in a long time that I don't even know any of you.
Yeah.
It's so great to feel accepted just by a group of strangers too.
Yeah.
It's really something.
Thank you. Yep. That's what it does.
That's not fun.
Okay.
So for a couple of days I've been wanting to text Josh and Meg, because I just haven't been seeing anybody for a while. And finally, on the way over here to group, I finally texted them. And she called me and left me a message saying they were at Valerio's on 32nd Pittsburgh when I text. And both of them, think about Laura when they go there, because she worked there for like a year and a half.
Mm-hmm.
She said, no, it's just fun that I,
Mm-hmm.
that moment to finally text.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah. Just a moment of oneness, I guess.
Uh-huh. Cool.
I've been noticing my stories in my mind of just victimhood, I guess you could call it. Victimhood, yeah. And like I've been talking myself down because like one of my, I guess, character defects, you could call it, is just I react in anger and apologize later.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that's like a major issue, but something I've been working on in the past year. But like today, in this whole past week, I'll wake up just like with anger thoughts, and I'm very justified. Like my ego is very justified in them, but I'm able to acknowledge and see where it's really not that logical. You know what I mean? Like, and so as right as I want to be, and as consciously as I'm choosing to be right and not have peace, I'm aware that I could have peace, but I don't freaking want it.
Yeah.
I want to be right.
Yeah.
And angry because I'm entitled. Damn it. But it's the same story that I've had my whole life. I'm a victim. I'm a victim. I'm a victim of this person. I'm a victim of that person. And I'm so freaking done with that story.
Cool.
So, yeah, I was able to just be like, okay, you know what? What I'm angry about, does it change my day to day? Do I still have food on my table? Am I going to work today? I have a job. I have a daughter that loves me. I have animals that are awesome. Like, and it's not just a gratitude list, but it's like a full change of like,
yes,
no, screw that victim story over and over again. I'm so sick of it.
Cool. That's beautiful use of awareness. And sometimes it's a bit of work using it like this to walk through that, but that's the right thing. Thank you. Okay, well, Susie reminded me after group last week, like, hey, where's all the love and oneness and not always just undoing stuff? So, guess where we're going tonight? Yeah, it is a constant flickering between the two. I mean, Jess's example is an undoing that she's working on, a transformation. And when they're up, it's very unnecessary to know how to meet them. But even more necessary is to have a goal of where we're going if we get rid of that crap. So it does pay to spend just as long or longer soaking in the good and reaffirming the positive, as it were. We'll play there a little more tonight. In that simple practice where I mentioned, once you get to your peace, then just enjoy it. Just soak in it. And even I go to see a therapist once in a while, and he's funny. Because this week I had to cheer him up and keep him awake during the session. And, anyway, and and even he brought up out of nowhere, he says, isn't it amazing, like after you meditate or have a good prayer session, then like you go to Walmart and everybody looks at you and they want to talk to you and they just are drawn to you. I said, yeah. Well, that's our real self. That's our being. And it's one of the reasons I changed the group to what it is becoming now is that's it. All the other focusing on ideas of the far out can be fun, but every minute we're this being that's just wonderful. Not for any reason at all, just because we're life, and all life is wonderful. And there's all of it. Oneness, reality, wholeness is all we're just life, and it's all wonderful. So we need to set that goal. It's like, well, I'd like to feel that way all the time. I'd like to feel wonderful about me and then about the world around me all the time. Because if we don't set it, then the person jumps up with all its old programs, and the outer world offers all its advice or observations or input, and there's not much among all those that carries much wonderful in it. So if I don't keep the focus on, I just want to like me being me now, whether I'm at work, whether I'm thinking about an issue, dealing with a situation, whatever, I can still remember I'm me. Hey, I like me. And that's wonderful, dialed down to everyday, daily living. Why not? Just have it be okay, wonderful. I'm going to spend 8 hours a day at work. There's 2 ways I can spend it. Miserable or, okay, this is what's happening. So what do I need to do next? And if I'm going to go out to lunch, it's like, wow, this is lunch. Look at that. They made me food. I mean, it's like there's so much wonderful in little moments. And, you know, I brought that in last week, but again, it's a new habit to get into of noticing and valuing the good. Just all kinds of little split-second experiences of good. You know, a blue patch in the sky. Wow, I don't know if it's aliens or what, but it's really cool. You know, you hear a song you like, and you just notice how you instantly get happy. And it's just like, cool. Oh, yeah, I like being happy. See, this whole person we are has been living in here all along. And we've just built lots and lots and lots of programs that cover it up. And then when it appears for even a fraction of a second, if one of our programs is running, we dismiss it. Oh, so what? That flower's pretty. I'm still miserable. And that's how we throw away all the good that we could be having all day long, every day. And yet, that good is not selfish or isolated. All life enjoys good. All life likes sharing the joy of its adventure. And the silly little example I've liked, but in my little workshop I used to have, I'd be working on the bench with something, and these little spiders would come down and sit about 6 inches away, and they'd just watch. They just came down to watch. And over, I mean, many, many times I have been out in that workshop, and they just come to watch. Well, that's life. We're just here to have an adventure, an experience, and to share the joy of it. And when we meet other people and we're willing to meet them from our joy in the moment, something different begins to happen between us. Another example, maybe a little more closely related for some, with people. Susie and I live downtown, right downtown. So we meet or cross paths with an awful lot of like homeless people and such. And I've often noticed, like they kind of have their head down or they tend to look away from you as you go by. And I've just noticed more and more that I'm able to just look them right in the eye. No judgment. I don't feel sorry for them like I have to do something to change their life. But just that moment of just meeting them eye to eye, and they just look back for that moment and they get it. There's that connection. For just that second, it's just, I'm me, you're you, glad we met up. That channel of communication is so, so powerful on this planet that if we did nothing else with spirituality except begin being willing to connect to people from our real being to their real being, we could still change up the planet in very short order. We just can't imagine how powerful the good of our life is. And we need to play with it. We need to practice it and to just watch the effects that it has and then value them. So it's back to the basic, what are we here for? Well, the human in us really has a problem with that question. It's been asking it for like millennium, What's the meaning of life? What's the purpose of life? What's the purpose of my life? And all this heavy, serious. Whereas life itself, if we just get still a minute and get happy, We're just here on an adventure, whatever it is. I don't even have to define it or figure it out. If there's something in it I know I like to do, I just do it. Susie does music. Adam does financial stuff. Every one of us does something with time because we want to. That's it. And the human cannot accept that that's enough. It's like, well, no, you got to prove your worth. You got to be measurable. You got to accomplish. No. And when we know who we are and we can be that person for a moment and look and meet another person in the eye, you tell them that's who and what they are as well. You give them a relief from life in the world. You give them a moment's respite. And you're just you. That's friggin' awesome. I don't need you to be anything else. Just you being you is everything. That's what our awake state or our state of love does. And that is real love. I often say it's respect and appreciation. Those two words are better than the word love, usually because we've wrapped love in all kinds of nasty stuff. Ownership, protection, keeping, getting rid of. Love is not an emotion. There is an emotion of love, and that we have that too, but love itself is this state of, I know who I am and I like me, and you're that same life and I like you. So that's where all this is going. That's where, if you want to call it enlightenment or salvation or whatever, that's it. It's a very, very simple state of just existing. I'm me in this second. And that's it. And the more I can let me be me in that freedom, the happier and easier it is, and the brighter it lights up everybody around me. What's really peculiar is it works so well, in fact. Why can't we just do it all the time? Why do we have to let that get dimmed down and forget about it and then struggle and compete and strive and then feel anxious and guilty and like a failure because our struggle and competition and striving didn't pay off we go into all that huge complicated stuff over and over. Well, the thing is to quit trying to answer that program and demands of the ego or the person. It by itself is very little. It's very afraid. It has no self-value other than the value we give it. So it's always looking to have its value established by accomplishing, by being worthy. Well, at least I'm a good talker. I can talk here for 20 minutes. I'm a good singer. And it's it's got to measure its value. And you can learn, I don't need to measure my value. I'm just me. I like to do these things or those things. And when I do them, I'm happy, and other people around me get happy. Not even because I did them, just because I was happy while I did them. And here I am doing mine, and they're over there doing theirs, and we're both just being happy. It's sufficient. It'll change the world also. As we allow our being to be clarified into its natural self, we just send out this constant field of appreciation and love and respect without a word. You don't have to even think about it. You don't have to remember that you're doing that. It just goes out automatically. And people will begin to comment like they like to be around you, or they just tend to show up for no reason. They come over and hang out by you, and eventually you got to find new hiding places to get your work done and all that. But that's okay. It's just part of the fun. We need to make that the number one goal. If we're going to reprogram the circuitry in our person, which hopefully we are. I don't want to keep listening to my old programs for eternity. I need to pick what they're going to change to. Why can't I just meet every person, even if they're threatening me, and just say, who are you? What do you need? What's going on? You know, it's like I feel my fear come up. Okay, that's fear. Sure enough, no problem, and it's going to be there a little while. But can I find the other place too? And, you know, in every circumstance, I have to reprogram myself to want to remember to feel that love, that state of good and peace and joy. And the mind will argue and say, no, you can't feel it if this is here. Once that gets gone, then I can be back to my peace. So now I got to solve this problem, change this situation, and have this part of my mind transformed. Then I will begin to know peace. And that is an eternal lie. Because what I give my attention to is what increases. And that's just a basic axiom in this business. If my mind proposes I be afraid, okay, it's proposing now. How can I be peaceful while I'm afraid? And you got to like chuckle or something when you do a thing like that. But your attention now is on something different. You're not buying the fear wholesale and letting it take over your mind. And the same with anger. Okay, my mind wants me to be angry. Oh, yeah, it really wants me to be angry. And, oh, boy, this looks like a good one. I could just roll in this for days. Okay.
He's like,
That's what my mind's proposing. Oh, wait. I could just be happy and walk through the same situation. And see, there's where we begin to learn where we have to make choice. Because when I say, nah, I see I want to be angry, I'd rather get back to that happy peace state. Help me get there. Open up to higher mind and say, help me get there. Now I've put my attention on what I want, not on something to get rid of. See, life is only creative. It's not destructive. And we can't get rid of stuff. We can create something else. But there's a difference in the basic thinking behind that. The destructive energy of fear and anger wants to push it away or gain control of it at least and manipulate it, or it wants to get rid of it as a force against me. You can't get rid of a force against you because the only force that's ever against us is our perception that there's a force against me. And as long as I believe that and give it attention, I give it power, and sure enough, there's a force against me, and it keeps whacking me in the face. Yep. So I learned to respond creatively, proactively. There's that. No problem seeing what my mind's offering here from the past, fear, judgment, prejudice, whatever. I want to know that happy state I was in when I ran into a friend downtown at a restaurant the other day, and we just all felt good to see each other, and it was so bright and happy. Where's that state right now? I want it now. I don't want this gone so I can feel that again. See, we got to learn to choose up in the midst of a moment of internal experience how we want to be experiencing, rather than arguing for what we want to be experiencing. As we move more and more into that habit, we begin to find out a strange and good, wonderful thing. We are a flow with the source, whatever that is, however it makes all this. Believe what you want, I don't care. It's just you learn by actual experience. When I'm in that space, good things happen to me and around me and to the people that I am interacting with. Things get better for me and for everybody involved. And you can just observe it. Keep a little notebook and take notes. It is true. Well, I want to develop an awareness where that's true all the time. And I want to learn how to be better at it. Why wouldn't I? Oh, okay. And now I have created my own goal, my own personal feeling of this awakening. And so now it's not a story from some teaching or book or Zen or the Tao or anything. When I turn to them, I can now see, oh, hey, that's what they were talking about. And yeah, that's sweet stuff. Cool. But it's me. I want to be in that state. And no, I don't have to accept the old state of my mind and that it's going to be that way and it's going to be running me forever. Yeah, it has been for a long time. I let that thread go for 60 years before I decided to change it, but any of it can be changed. And this choice to want to feel that, just that easy, so relaxed, just I'm me, you're you, I'm glad we're here together. I still can never think of a better way to describe the basic state of being or namaste than that. I need to develop a habit, though, of wanting to go there and stay there with everything. And it even does apply to physical healing. And another time maybe we'll play with that more. But whenever we're in a condition of dis-ease of any kind, we're tense about it. I don't like it. And it cramps, constricts the life flow through us. As we learn, I posted that little thing during the week, we went home and got a really bad flu or cold symptoms the next day. And I play with this all the time, but it's like, yeah, it feels like I'm breathing through wet cotton and I am achy and I don't like it. I don't like it. I caught that. No, it's just like I'm breathing through wet cotton and I'm achy. And chills and coughing and runny nose and a few other things. Okay, that's what I'm experiencing. Well, let's see how this goes. So those symptoms persisted at that level for about 2 days. And, it basically just stayed okay. Took a lot of naps and whatever, but it never dropped into that, oh, I feel so sick and miserable that I used to do. I know I'd really either feel sorry for myself when I was sick or I'd want to be alone and just want everybody else to go away and die or something. I just don't bother me. And there was neither, and not an inclination to find a state to go to. It's just, okay, I'm experiencing. This is a cold. Just here I am. Okay. Well, I don't know. Some years ago, I would not have been able to convince my mind that how I experienced that was optional. It would have been, oh no, I've got a cold. I'm going to be funky for a few days now, and I'll probably get grouchy, and then it's going to cause a fight, and then, yeah, that's what colds do, It's like, no, we can live with present awareness all the time with everything. I'm just kind of harping on that because this whole process of awakening is beginning to allow more awareness to where we still make dozens or hundreds of exceptions in our mind and say, well, no, I couldn't be happy with that. I don't like. That isn't right. And I don't know, I found it's, for me, easiest just to symbolize with my hands. Take my feeling thought about it. I don't like, it's a clenching action. It's a contraction. That means I'm going to limit the creative flow through me. Okay, stop clenching. Here I am. I'm dealing with this. How do I send it love? And now my hands want to open and go out. Okay, so I got a cold. Yeah? How do I send it love? How do I send it more life? And now I'm relaxing. See, and that's why I started saying even healing is speeded up with this, because we're relaxing ourselves. For whatever we might think about specifics, anything in my life that is perceived as pain or a problem, it's something that needs addressed. No doubt about it. Awareness is aware. It doesn't go unconscious or deny or ignore or avoid anything. But pain tells me, yeah, my knee needs some looking at. It needs fixed. Oh, okay. Thank you for letting me know. Now, what do I want to do about that? And I relax into it. I have a problem. Yeah. I get up and the furnace is out. And, okay, it's chilly in here. It's not a problem. The problem is that's going to cause me harm. That's going to, lead to this, which leads to that, blah, blah, blah. No. Here I am. It's chilly in the house. What needs to happen next? Okay. Oh. Well, maybe I'll look on YouTube or call my brother or whatever the thought is. But see, I'm able to meet any moment with awareness and be basically still okay. I may feel the desire to get pissed off or get panicky, but I can still say, oh, it's all right. It's just an experience. How can I be okay with this? And remember that happy meeting with a happy friend the other day, and it's like, all right, I want to fix the furnace feeling like that. I want to experience having a cold feeling like that. Why not? So, like I've said, there's hundreds of things in our mind that don't believe it's possible to transform those things into the possibility of them being a peaceful experience. Well, they're wrong. They're lying to you. And you have bought them in the past for some unconscious reason. You thought they gained you something or got you protection. It doesn't matter. There is a valid reason within its insanity for it being there. It's not an enemy. But you can see now that being angry or anxious or fearful is just not nearly as much fun as just being present and being this field of love and lighting yourself and everybody around you all up. And awareness lets you choose. Oh yeah, I could experience this in some kind of peace. Nah. And mindfulness is what does the choosing. Here I am, I hear my brain going, this is terrible, that's going to get worse, and they shouldn't have, and you should have, and da-da-da. And the little voice that says, you could just be okay and never mind all that. Okay. Well, that's awareness that brings you to be aware that it could be different. And it's mindfulness that we use to make the choice. Okay, I could choose to go through this miserably in anger or whatever, or I could just return to awareness and say, show me how this can be the most fun it can be, or let's see where this is going to go, or whatever. We have many habits of where our mind convinces us to become miserable. And none of them are necessary. We can meet all those things, and actually if we meet them wanting to be happy, we begin solving things and changing things that if we got miserable about it, we stayed miserable like, well, they've been like that forever and they're never going to change and I got to live with them forever. Well, there's no hope in that kind of outlook in life. But when I remember my happy and say, well, what if there's a way to look at this happily? Yeah, show me. And you start getting happy around somebody that always liked being miserable, they leave if they don't want to be happy. Oh, things change up. Okay, I wanted to be happy. I didn't want to be around their misery. Their misery went away and I can be happy now. Oh, well, is that all right? You know, it's like, it's funny, we almost have to learn to let misery walk out the door. We're so used to nurturing it that we've got to learn it's okay to let it walk away. And little by little, and then more quickly by more quickly, we learn everything can be brought to this state of awareness where we remember, hey, I could be experiencing this in enough peace and humor and joy to get through it, and then things will be different. All right, a little help, please. Let's see how this goes. And that's it. But all that's the complicated mechanics. The real stuff is just the happy feeling we get when that joy of remembering, hey, I'm me. I just like me. And you're you. I just like you. And there's a freedom in that love. It's just so simple and happy. It's like, you know, I often say it's like when you're watching puppies play or little children. You're just enjoying them being them so much. And it just feels so good to enjoy that. That's how we were meant to be enjoying this experience of life. That was the, if you want to call it a divine plan or whatever, this was a playground. We came here for an adventure, and it should be of that quality. So maybe it hasn't been all the time up till now, but I can begin, and so I will. Okay, thanks, guys.
I know you said that, you know, you don't like to use the word love that much because you feel like, you know, a lot of people associate that with, you know, special love and heartbreak and people wanting to possess each other and stuff. But to me, I just love that word. You know, to me, that just is like, to me, it's everything. You know, like if I have like, you know, like, I don't know, this is just kind of a weird example, but when I went to the bus stop the other day, and I walked into the little shelter, there was somebody waiting for the bus, and I could tell that I like kind of startled her because I was like, "Hi," and she's like kind of startled because she didn't see me coming, and then she seemed like she was kind of agitated after that, and she like kept like kind of getting up and whatnot, and I just said to myself, you know, I'm just gonna love her, and I just like focused on just like sending her love, and I could just feel like just. I could see the change in her. She just became like more relaxed again. And then she started chit-chatting with me and everything. I don't know, it's kind of a silly example. But
it's a perfect.
It works in other situations too. And I just feel like, I don't know, I just really like that word. And I just feel like that helps me a lot if I just like feel agitated with somebody and I'm just like, no, I just want to love this person. And then I can actually like feel it, and it happens like more and more often for me, and it's just such a really beautiful feeling.
You've pretty well perfected that. And part of what because I play teacher is, I mean, we use the word love 1,000 times a day at home, but it's just learning. First, you got to learn what love isn't. It's been being called love. But once you get it, then you're right. It's all just love. That's that state of joy. That's that state of appreciation. That's what love. And it's a beautiful word. And you just decide to love them all.
So, okay. I know last week I was talking about the law of attraction, but I feel like it's the same thing because what you're talking about is getting into a feeling of joy about something, right? So The Secret, tells you to write down your intentions, your gratitude intentions for the day, and those are the things that you want to bring, you want to attract. So I have been playing with that a little bit, like, kind of sitting with, like, oh, how would it feel to just be happy and joyful all day at work, and like that was one of my intentions today, and you come to think of it, like, there wasn't really any stress today. It just kind of flowed.
Yeah.
Imagine that.
What a bizarre coincidence.
Yeah, but it's funny. Like I think I've been thinking of like the law of attraction as this like mysterious thing that I'm getting back into, and it's like the same shit I've been doing. Yeah. Just calling it, just packaging it differently.
Well, you're seeing its real meaning much more clearly yourself. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's much more attainable than I would have looked at it years ago when I first looked at the law of attraction, without like kind of knowing what I know now, with really being able to feel it and believe it and go, I know I can get that, and I will get that. And I already have it.
Yeah. I phrase it more as the law of creation. Like creates like. So if I sit here saying, oh, I'm miserable, I don't have, that shouldn't, I'm creating what it is I say I don't want by focusing on it.
Right.
When I just drop that and get happy first, and it's like, I just would like to be happy here all day long. That's what's doing the creating now, and it'll create rather than just drawing. That's why I would never like that phrase, the law of attraction. Like, you got to go out there and find it. No, I'm just going to create it right here. I'm not going looking for it or waiting for it, So.
Because you're right, it implies a lack. Like, to attract something means that you don't have it.
Yeah.
And so.
Yeah. So. Cool.
The law of love.
Yeah, there you go. Law of love.